he is. Good morning.
Good morning.
And thank you for joining us on the bbharriersac live for this week. Nice early start for us on a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
So obviously this year very disrupted for competition, but you competed last week. So tell us a bit about how you got on.
Well, they're only doing 400 meters, 100 meters, and stuff like that. So I'm usually an 800 meter runner. So, but I entered for the 400 meters. Went quite well. Got a PB and 50.2, over a second PB, and ranked me third in UK. So can't complain. And it was just all around good to be back on the track. Really.
Yeah, for a first race of the season with such kind of disrupted preparation. So how have you found training in kind of lockdown and things like that?
Well, at the start of lockdown, training was actually like non-existent for me, to be honest with you. I ran just a few long runs, like full body workouts, but that was it. But recently, we've been back on the track, which is good, and like training's gone up to like full time again, which is nice, and it's good to be back. The season's coming back alive now, which is nice to see.
Yeah, have you got any more races lined up for the next few weeks?
Next weekend we're going to another race at Lee Valley and 800 meters this time, and at the end of the month of August I got Southern Champs, which is 400 meters as well. So, yeah.
Okay. Have you had any information about how the 800 is going to be different? Because obviously, with kind of social distancing, you're not going to start on the curve. I wouldn't have thought, and then everyone kind of breaking into the same lane. So is it a reduced field, or are there any other kind of restrictions?
It's now down to 6 people per race, but it's back to normal. So you can start in lanes and then break and run the 800 meter normally, but it's now just 6 people today.
Okay, and in the competition you did last week, what other kind of things were put in place for social distancing?
They only had 4 people in a race, I think it was, and there was one lane per person and then a lane gap in between each person as well. And they had to spray down the start line and the track after each race and everything.
Okay, and how did you find, obviously, which lane were you in? Were you in the inside or?
I was in lane 5, so I only had one person outside of me, which is not great, but it was alright.
It's a big stagger as well,
yeah.
So it's hard to judge. I would imagine over 400 trying to judge a two lane stagger.
It was basically a time trial, just like racing it to clock yourself, really.
Yeah, and then there were quite a few races there, because I know we had quite a lot of people from the club competing. Do you think that's do you think it was a successful kind of return to like an open meet?
I think it was. It ran really smoothly. Everyone got raced in. The races were on time and everything, so it was a successful start, I think.
Okay, so moving kind of back in time from like this year to kind of your start in athletics, what are your first memories of getting involved in running in athletics?
Well, primary school, like cross country and Crystal Palace cross country, that's where I figured out I was quite good at this. Running could be something I want to do in the future and stuff like that. My brothers, they did the Crystal Palace before from the school, and they didn't do that well. I think my best, I don't know what my brother's best finish was, but then when I came to year 3 and year 4, no one was expecting me to do as well as I did, and that's when I was like, oh okay, and then I won it in year 4 and stuff like that. So that's when I was like, yeah, and then through that, the bees coaches, they heard it, so that's where I found out about bees, and when I was in year 5 or year 6, I joined bees, and then when I turned 11, eventually joined Blackheath, which was good, yeah.
Yeah, I think off the top of my head, I think your brother came 4th.
Yeah.
But that's very niche knowledge.
Yeah.
That quite a long time ago now. And progressing through the age groups, obviously you've come through the club from the Bs and into the under 13s, under 15s, under 17s, moving to under 20s. How have you found the kind of focus of competition has changed as you've moved forward?
Yeah, well, when I was younger, I did under 13s. I wasn't really focused on one event. I did like loads of events. If you look at my power of 10, I've got literally every event that ever exists I've done, apart from like steeplechase. And I usually just help.
There's still time in the Southern League for a steeplechase. Never say never.
And then I usually like have to help fill in like javelin or shot put, stuff like that, just because I thought it was enjoyable doing as much as I could. But as I've got older, it's just you focus on certain events. So I'm now focusing on 800, 1500, 400 events, and yeah, that's what it is really. So as you get older, I guess the races get more refined.
So you've mentioned there you've competed in a number of events, and you're kind of focusing on the 4, 8, and 15. Which of those do you think is your favourite, and where do you think your kind of long-term future lies? I know a lot of people, you can double up an 8 and 15 and 4 and 8, but generally you probably have a preference.
I think 800 metres is my best event, and that's probably where I want to take my future, is in the 800 metres. 1500 metres is probably the worst out of the three, but yeah, 800 metres is the way to go.
Okay, and then talking about a range of events, you've also got a 275 PB in the pole vault. What was the kind of idea behind having a go at the pole vault? Because while it's great fun, it is a very different event to what you're normally doing.
Yeah, well, for secondary school, they have like the English Schools Cup, where you have to do one track event and one field event. And pole vault is a really high scoring event, and because I was one of the people that had access to the track, my teacher asked if I could try pole vault to try and get some extra points. And then I did, I went to training, and John was happy to have me. I competed sometimes with Black Ether in YDLs and Kent Leagues and stuff as well, which was always fun. You know, it was never serious things, but it was fun to fill in and stuff. And training was also fun, but I don't know if I'll ever go back.
I think with the pole vault, it's much the same in kind of senior athletics. It's one of those events that you obviously have the specialists, but you are able to pick up a lot of good points. So having that kind of string to your bow and being able to clear some heights certainly gets points for the club. As I'll certainly attest, and I can see Roger Platt is watching as well. He's often the A string to my B string in that. More targets for this year in terms of what you want to achieve this season?
Not really. I just want to run a few more 800s, try and get a PB and lower my time, and that's it really. Just to improve my times this season, and then go on to next season feeling good about how I run this season.
Okay, and then looking slightly further ahead over the next couple of years, what are your targets kind of time-wise and kind of representative-wise in the in 800 especially?
Yeah. Well, this year I wanted to run English schools as also the council. Then it was the last year you could represent England for English schools, which is a shame. But in the future, over the next 2 years, I want to just get my time down as far as possible in 800, and hopefully, because I'm up there with some of the best, I just want to be at the top really, and then hopefully I'm selected for England at some point, or stuff like that for the next 2 years, which I did.
Yeah, I think it's good kind of targets to have. Now let's bring it back because you said about the English Schools Cup. Obviously, you're at a very sporty secondary school with a really fine pedigree for PE. How have you found kind of athletics has fitted in with the demands of school sport? Because we get lots of people who, when in year 7 and 8, are very good athletes, but then they're expected to play rugby or they play hockey for the school, and eventually, kind of their talent in athletics means that they specialise. But how have you found kind of balancing the demands of school sport with your own training?
Well, originally I was playing hockey, rugby, cricket, because that's what the school focuses on most. Then, seeing as me and Jacob Byfield is also an exceptional athlete, go to Langley, athletics has kind of grown there, which has been good. So they're taking it more seriously as we've been there, which is good. But my dad stopped me playing rugby because I got injured once. So the school was very disappointed about that. And but I still play hockey at school, and balancing that with athletics is somewhat difficult, but it's okay. Yeah, training and mixing training with hockey in school and athletics can be difficult, and playing games for the school is also difficult because they're on Saturdays and usually I have races then. And they understand that now, but when I first went to the school, they didn't get that. They think I should be playing school sport over athletics and stuff like that. But yeah,
I think it gets to the point where kind of the benefits of school of having a like nationally ranked runner outweighs potentially needing to go to training every week and things like that.
Yeah.
So let's consider kind of the future moving forward. So we've got a couple more years before making a decision about university or kind of adult life. Have you had any thoughts initially about what you might want to do with that?
Well, originally I wanted to like go to a university that had a very good like athletics team, like Birmingham, Loughborough, someplace like that. But which also good academically. That's what my dad wanted me to focus on for first, academic before sport, which I understand. But recently I've been reached out by people like Right Track who specialise in recruiting people to go to US universities and colleges, and that is also something I may be looking to do. Because that it's a great opportunity and not many people get given that. So yeah, so that is possible as well.
I think the route down the US kind of collegiate system is very good in terms of the athletics there is taken extremely seriously. It is over here as well.
Yeah.
It is at a different level, and there's a number of people in the club who've kind of gone down that route. Certainly give you some advice on that. So would you have with that kind of recruitment process, do they have specific universities they'd be looking in mind, or is it just kind of a foot in the door and then you still make that kind of decision?
Yeah, that's a foot in the door. I think they said they're gonna come down to training or races and watch me and find out like how I perform and my personality, and then they get videos and they send it because they have loads of connections over there, so they send it to as many coaches as possible, and then you get offers, and then they will refine that for you to like 15 or so, and then you choose 5 out of those that you're interested in, and then they take you over there for a weekend paid by the universities, so you can go around and look and see what it's like, and then you eventually choose which one you want to go to.
So because the American collegiate system is slightly different in terms of kind of how you specialise in a degree. You kind of have a major later on, not an expert, but from my understanding. Whereas over here, it's a bit more kind of focused straight away. What would you look to be studying if you went to university?
I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I'd wait till go through, because I got A levels coming up. Just finished GCSEs, so see how that goes, and then we'll see what I choose.
Just don't go into teaching. Maybe a bit of advice I'll give you. So talking about kind of influences, do you have any like athletes at the club that have inspired you in your kind of athletic journey?
Yeah, there's loads of the older people who I've grown up with, watching and seeing have inspired me. Like Angus, great 800 meter runner. He's made me want to be a better athlete. Like Ollie Bright, Lewis Mills, people like that, just who are great athletes, and I was like, yeah, I want to be one of them. I've trained alongside some of them, which is good, and that's a good experience, and good involved with them. Yeah.
I think when you're kind of coming through, it's always those athletes a couple of years older that you're kind of trying to catch up, and when you kind of get to senior level and it all kind of evens out, you kind of had them to drag you towards there. And in terms of kind of famous athletes beyond the club, are there any athletes that you are particularly inspired by or kind of favourites of yours?
Well, obviously Mo Farah is a big one. I had the opportunity of meeting him when I came third at Westminster Mile because they messed up the podium and gave third place to some other person. So they were like, okay, we give you opportunity, Mo, to present your medal to you, which was good. And he's always been interested in mine since a very young age.
If you'd been on the podium originally, would you have got to meet Mo?
No. So
almost Okay. And anyone else? Maybe over the
no, not really. I just wanna. The others questionable, I think.
Yeah. Okay. It's So the last couple of people I've interviewed on here have had Richard Holt and Steve Timmins, both kind of veteran athletes with massive kind of careers behind them, and then famously done very well at English schools and things like that. You're at the other end of your kind of athletic journey. If we were to put you at that kind of age where you're coming towards the end, not saying either of them are, but as a kind of veteran and an older person, looking back on your kind of peak of athletics, what would you like to look back and see that you've done or achieved?
I'd like to see that I've competed for GB in like the major competitions like the Olympics, the World Champs, the Commonwealth Games and Europeans and stuff like that, and hopefully done well in them. So like maybe medal or something like that. And if that's possible, then that would be great to look back on.
Okay. And then in terms of kind of like the club, we've moved towards the National Athletics League from the British Athletics League. The next couple of years, is that the kind of competition you want to be focusing on getting into the team for?
Yeah.
Because for the middle distances, it's always very competitive because you've just got the 8 and 15 and the 4, but there's only 6 athletes out of the whole club, and it's the six top. So would your aim in the next couple of years to be breaking into that team?
It would be to get into that team because they're where the best ratings are, so the highest opportunity of like improving my times and stuff, and racing against the best competition possible.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's everything I've got written down to ask you, Sam. So good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And obviously, you were just outside 50 seconds last weekend. Do you think breaking 50?
Hopefully, that's what I want to do. Hope next 400 is the end of August, so got a little bit of training to get into there, and then we'll see.
I think that's the barrier for kind of 400s is 50. If you can breaking 50 for 400 is like going sub 2 for 8. You're kind of looking into that category. Okay, well, brilliant. Thank you for talking to us, Sam.
Thank you.
And good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you.